Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something pretty ambitious here in Michigan. They're aiming for 60% of electricity from renewables by 2030.
That's a big number.
It really is. And when you think Michigan, you probably don't picture endless sunshine, right? Lots of variable weather, rain, clouds. So the big question is, how does a state like this pull off such a bold solar target?
Yeah, that's exactly the core challenge we're tackling today. We're going to explore some really innovative tech,
Yeah.
stuff that might actually turn Michigan's climate, the rain and clouds, from a problem into, well, an asset for solar power. It really gets to that question of, can solar work reliably year-round here?
Okay, I like where this is going. So the main event for this deep dive is this rain-powered solar idea, specifically something called triboelectric nanogenerators, 10Ns. We looked into some fascinating research on this.
Exactly, 10 ends, it's cutting-edge stuff.
All right, before we get to the tech, let's just quickly paint the picture of Michigan's climate. We're talking what, 800 to 1400 millimeters of rain a year?
Quite a bit.
And average sunlight is only about 4.5 hours a day. So you hear that, and solar doesn't immediately jump to mind as the perfect fit.
Right, that's the gut reaction for most people.
Yeah.
But there's a twist. Solar panels actually run more efficiently when it's cooler. Less heat means less electrical resistance.
Ah, okay. So Michigan's cooler climate isn't entirely a negative then.
Not at all. It's actually a bit of an advantage for efficiency much of the year. And even winter snow, people worry about that. But a 5-year study found it only causes about a 3% energy loss overall.
Only 3%? How?
Well, panels are usually installed at an angle, maybe 45 degrees, so snow tends to slide off. Plus, they're dark, which helps absorb sunlight and melt any accumulation.
Okay, makes sense. Cooler temps help. Snow isn't a huge blocker, but you still have those gray, rainy days. That's where traditional solar struggles a bit, right?
Precisely. Output definitely dips, sometimes 10, 25%, maybe more during rain or heavy cloud cover. And that's where this new technology, these tanjoys developed by researchers at Suzhou University in China, comes in. It's really quite clever.
Okay, so break it down for us. How do tenings work?
So imagine you take a regular solar panel and you put a special transparent layer over the top. That's the Teneng layer. When raindrops hit this layer and then roll off, the movement creates friction between the water and the surface.
Friction from raindrops.
Yeah, tiny amounts of friction. It generates electricity through something called liquid-solid contact electrification. Basically, it's capturing the kinetic energy, the movement energy of the raindrops and turning it into electrical power.
Wow.
So you get this dual harvest approach. The panel still makes power from sunlight when it's sunny, but the Tang layer also makes power from the rain when it's raining.
Sun and rain power from the same panel. That sounds, well, revolutionary for a place like Michigan. But what about the cost? Is it realistic? Traditional solar here, you're looking at maybe a 9 to 12-year payback, saving homeowners maybe $1,000 to $1,700 a year.
That's the ballpark for traditional, yeah. Now, Tangs are still emerging tech, so the upfront cost is likely higher right now. But here's the potential game changer. More consistent energy production. Because it works in rain, too, the total energy generated over a year could be significantly higher.
Meaning it could potentially pay for itself faster despite the higher initial cost?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Especially as the technology matures and costs come down. You also have to factor in things like utility policies like DTE, buying back excess power at wholesale rates, which affects the immediate return. But improved consistency really changes the long-term value calculation. And, of course, federal funding and subsidies play a role too.
And we know large-scale solar can work here. Look at the U of M Stadium project, big installation, showed it was feasible and pays for itself.
Exactly.
And those community solar programs. Some residents cut their electricity costs by 30% annually, even up to 70% if they combined it with weatherization efforts.
Right. Those examples prove the concept works economically, even with traditional tech. Now imagine enhancing that. Michigan has, about 1,444 megawatts of solar installed now. Enough for over 255,000 homes.
Yeah, roughly that.
If you could boost the output and reliability of that capacity with tens, especially during those rainy periods, it's a huge potential jump. And what's really exciting is the idea of possibly retrofitting existing panels with Tang layers down the line. That makes it much more scalable.
Okay, so let's just recap the key difference here. Traditional solar, mostly just daylight, and output drops in the rain.
Correct. Maybe 10, 25% drop in rain.
Exy. They work in the sun and they work in the rain, actually generating power from the rain itself.
Exactly. Maintaining power generation even when it's precipitating. It flips the script on weather limitations.
It really does seem like a promising path for Michigan, turning that variable weather, the rain, from a challenge into, well, an actual source of energy.
It absolutely offers that possibility. So here's something to think about. If Michigan really supports the R&D for technologies like 10TEs, could the state not just hit that 60% target, but maybe even position itself as a world leader in making solar work effectively no matter the weather? Could rain actually power our future?